Silver Lake Firehouse. We have a resolution on tonight extending conditional appointment of Topher Realty as redeveloper for the Roche property until July 12th of this year. We also have a resolution to renew a contract with Vision Service Plan. That's our current service provider for vision services at the same rate, $11.67 for the next 2 years. We have a reso rejecting a single bid for vegetative waste removal and an authorization to rebid. And on, let's see, on June 23rd, we had a meeting with the DOT in reference to Washington Avenue and the repaving, the sidewalk improvements, the ADA curb cuts, and the bump outs that will go from Mill Street to the town line. That's all I have.
No.
No.
Yeah, Mauro, you and I talked about the town-wide garage sale. We do have a date, and that is Saturday, September 24th. So that's the date for that. And Mauro, you'll be working on, with your office, the publicity.
Yes.
How to go about it. I believe we're going to have them sign up, so they can get some
Yes,
type
we'll
of
have
map or
sign-ups,
something,
just
so
so
they know
we're
what
aware.
houses have this.
Yes, Councilman.
I think we just need a rain date on that, though. You do a rain date?
Yeah, we do a rain
Yeah, I
date.
think we're going
We
to
do
do
a
a
rain
rain
date.
date. Probably following.
Okay.
Also, one more thing. Before you got here, actually, we had people here from Portland Street. There's been a problem there with speeding, so they wanted a four-way stop, which we did approve on Terry and Portland Street, and that has not gone up. So can you check into that, please?
Yes.
Four-way stop.
Joe?
Two quick things. I was asked to see if I could find out for a resident. Looks like we're going to be resurfacing Teppan and from Union to Washington Ave, but not between Adelaide and Union. And the resident would like to find out from him why we wouldn't, why we're not doing, from Adelaide between Adelaide and Union.
I'll check with the town engineer. I'm sure there's a good reason, maybe scheduled for another time. But I'll find out and get back to you.
I suppose that if you're the guy where it stops, it's a valid question. And the only other thing I would like to say is you made me a believer. And I appreciate that we're awarding Silver Lake Firehouse improvements that are starting and that we're going through with the plans for the rest of it. And I, for one, am happy. I thank my colleagues on council as well, who I know supported it as well. And we're moving, and I very much appreciate that. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of people when I say it.
Thank you, Councilman.
Steve? On Fairway Avenue, I had a complaint about speeding again, and I was just wondering if you could check with the traffic department on what it would take to maybe put a speed bump over there, and what would the implications be, to pay some of the other stuff as far as plowing. I also wanted to acknowledge that the county exec for Franklin Avenue. Nice job.
Good. Yeah, do we have any progress with the garbage contract?
I'm not aware of where we are with that. I know the purchasing agent was handling that.
Yeah.
But I believe the bids, are the bids back yet, Madam Clerk?
August 9th, we're receiving bids.
August 9th, we're receiving bids, so then we'll move on that ASAP as soon as they're back in.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. We did the communications thing, right?
Yes.
So we'll go right to the ordinance.
Ordinance number 1 for public hearing, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation and to establish a cap bank.
Make a motion, open it for public hearing.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
I know you want to know what it is, Mr. King.
No, I know exactly what it is,
I'm glad, finally.
and I'm opposed, not finally, I know every year, Mr. Mayor, and I'm opposed to it because there's no control on spending. This is a big conspiracy with municipal officials and the legislature with the phony 2% cap, which first of all only applies maybe to half of the budget, most of it's out of cap. And then what they did, they passed this other resolution on the state level that allows a council to pass an ordinance to exceed the 2% up to 3.5%. So there is no cap. The governor, the gang of 120 in Trenton are all pathological liars. And they're all in cahoots with the municipal officials. Now I'm asking you again, last year you told me, well, we're not gonna spend it. It's just in case there's an emergency. Well, you had $1.7 million worth of emergency. You're using that whole 3.5%. It's got to stop. The average income, family income, the whole family in Belleville makes about $58,000. We got secretaries making $85,000. We got $158,000 salaries by the dozens. It's unsustainable, Mayor and Council. Now, again, you probably don't understand it because most of you are public employees. You got nice pensions, you had nice jobs, you had nice benefits. The average person in Belleville has to work very hard just to go and his $80, $90 food bill every week. You don't understand what's going on. You absolutely don't understand. So, once again, like I do every year, I'm asking you, don't. Stick with the 2% cap, the phony cap anyway, but at least that. Because you're going to spend it. Just do it every year. And what are you doing? Look at your budget. Look at your payrolls. Look at the list of the payrolls. So look at the Board of Ed just distributed their entire list of payrolls. Unbelievable salaries. When I show the people, when I tell them, they don't believe it until I show them in writing. What are you kidding me? You know, one lady works in New York for a big company. I have to get to train at 6:30. I don't go home till 8:30 at night. I make $62,000 a year. Where are they coming off with these salaries? You know, it's unsustainable. So I'm asking the 7 of you to have the courage tonight to not pass this permission for you to tax us an additional $2 million for next year. Please, I'm begging you. The township people can't afford it.
I have to concur. What is a 2% cap? It's meaningless. We're talking about salaries, pensions, and benefits that escalate almost exponentially through the years, and now it's come to the point where we simply are losing our homes, our properties. You can't rent them. The vacancy rate is huge. According to 2013, it said 7.3% on the housing element of the Fair Share Housing Plan that the township submitted to the county. You can read it right there, somewhere around page 22, I believe. And the fact of the matter is, the vacancy rate is high, and we're looking at raising more housing. The township is how does the state put it, an urban aid community. We're getting about 1/3 of our payment right now to the state and to the township because we don't have money. We have that many people who are so strapped and up against it. They work 2 jobs, everybody in the house is out working till 8 o'clock at night. You can't afford to live here. Where do you go from Belleville? It just keeps going up and up and up. You know, I'm not going to move to Irvington. It's, you know, come on. Let's get a grip on this. It's insane that we've got $200,000 police chief and the fire chief. You've got 7 people in town make more than the governor of the state of New Jersey. I'm sorry, it's not that demanding. We can't afford it. We can't. Foreclosures are huge. They're happening all around us. And, you know, this 2% cap and then 3.5% you raise it to, effectively, in the end, with what's not covered, it's between 5 and 6%. It's simply unsustainable. It is. People are really losing their homes, being forced out. It's just got to stop. You got to get a grip. You know, nobody seems to want to take their hand off the lever. You got to back off. That's it.
Phyllis Frantantoni, I concur with what they say for one reason too. If you look around with the way everything is being raised, you have many illegal apartments because people cannot afford to pay all the high tax rates that we're getting and all the other fees that are in there. But if you look around, this is what you're doing to Belleville. We created Newark all over again in Belleville because of what's happened.
Make a motion to close public hearings, vote for final adoption.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes.
Ordinance approved.
Make a motion to open public participation.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli? Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
First, I'd like to read an excerpt from a transcript of January 12, 2016 meeting. This is a statement made by Councilman Dr. John Nattari. Quote, "I went to get a firm in here. I want an outside search firm. We are hiring tonight as an interim is temporary. I want someone who does this for a living, who went to school for this, and I want someone that knows none of us up here." At that point, there was a big applause from the audience. I will say this at every other town meeting. Belleville deserves someone now who will do a good job as an interim. But we need to get away from that title interim. We need a full-time manager, and I do want this done professionally with the firm. There is one in Morristown, I forget the name of it. This is what I want. And I promise you, I will be saying this at every other meeting where we will be going with this speech. And I want to read that sentence over again. I want someone who went to school for this, and I want someone that knows none of us up here. That was your statement, Mr. Nattari, at January 16th meeting. Now, I see on Resolution 7, appointing a Mr. Mauro Tucci, whoever that is. I assume none of you know Mr. Mauro Tucci, is that correct?
Of course, that's not correct.
Okay. So I ask you, Mr. Nattari, I don't know if you'd be in favor of this resolution based on your January statement.
You finished, man?
Now, there's a couple of things I want to ask. I'm asking that. And all, well, the other thing I like is, what firm, what outside search firm did we hire?
If I may answer you, we did not do a firm. We advertised on the League of Municipalities for 2 months. It was nationwide because we did get a resume from Nebraska. After 2 months of advertising, we got 10 people that applied. Out of the 10, I don't know if any of my council members wanted anyone else interviewed. I did have a name out there that I wanted interviewed, and he was supposed to be interviewed. And 48 hours before the interview, he pulled out. Looking at the 10 resumes and the one that pulled out, Mr. Tucci, with the consent of the council, Mr. Tucci was the best candidate. Now, the council all had say on this. They could have changed anything they wanted. When I proposed the requirements for the job, I did say to the council in February, if any of you want anything changed, you can change it. The resumes were sent by the clerk to every council member, and it was a council at whole, so that's what happened. It's a shame, nothing against Mr. Tucci, because he's done a very, very good job, but it's a shame that only 10 people applied, and I happen to know this from friends of mine that are managers. No one wants to come here.
Well, I read all the resumes, too. I believe there was 11, not 10. And there was one that had a lot more qualifications than Mr. Tucci. Actually, Mr. Tucci's township manager experience has only been in Belleville here and a short stint in Bloomfield for a while. So this is his experience in Belleville, and he was let go the first time around. So I don't know what we're doing here. We need an outsider. The other thing you stated, and I agree with you, we need somebody to go do this full time. Mr. Tucci had too many irons in the fire to do this full time. I know what it requires to do it. It's a daily thing that needs daily attention, not taking care of his pool, not taking care of his mental health thing and all his other duties that he's got. And so I hope we will extend the search a little longer and hire an outside firm that can do it. And the League of Municipality operates, I don't believe they advertise nationwide. It's just an organization And a mayor of a small town is the head of it.
Kelly, do
Yeah,
advertise
believe
on
me.
the website. Kelly, do that. It's on the internet. That's actually global, if you look at the World Wide Web.
Well, I'll wait to see the vote on this. I hope some of you have the courage of your convictions on this. What was the amount of the awarding the bid for the roof and masonry maintenance at the firehouse?
About $56,000.
$56,256.
Right, that's for the base bid, and then you have $1,250 for the upper and lower roof, removal and replacement, gutters, leaders, and $25,000 to remove the slate and the concrete and the overhead door and all the reporting.
And what is the total?
It's all in the resolution. I'm sorry?
What is the total of everything?
$82,500.
Want to finish up in?
Yeah, I hope I don't know what the engineering fees or the architect fees, I hope they're not that high for this. This is a small building, and let's see resolution 9, how much we're gonna pay for that one.
It's listed. The amount's listed.
It's listed. What is the resolution 10?
Finish up, please.
What is resolution 10? What is this TWA application?
It's for the lot on Washington.
Yeah, I know, but what is this
Sewer.
TWA?
For sewer capacity. Sewage capacity.
For
Sewer
what?
and water package.
To tie into the sewer and water system and all? Yeah, and finally, on the thing about the naninas, that you went into private discussion, the reason, I think Mr. Longo got a wrong answer last time, the reason that's been on the table here is because you advertise it. Your advertisement contained the wrong lot and block number. That was, you listed lot and block number of the property on Smallwood Avenue. That's why it's been on the table. But again, if you do anything with this, you better not give it away to cheap. That
We know,
property is
man.
about 10
We know,
times
that's
the
why-
size of my
There's no
property.
movement on it.
You better get some good money if you sell that property.
Thank you. Sir?
My name's Matthew Hawks, this is my daughter Ava, and my daughter Evan, they wrote something to speak to you about. Okay.
A little over a year ago, my sister, which the Board of Ed, asked me when to put in bike racks for all the schools. And recently we went to another meeting, and they said they would like to put in bike racks, but they need to work, they need to have the okay from you to put them in.
Your own property.
They said that they have to work with the town to get this going. There's grants out there, and was it Newark and Maplewood already got it done.
Wait, they got 2 grantsmen and they can't come up with a grant?
Excuse me?
They have 2 grantsmen. They can go for grants too. If it's on their
They
property.
said it's
then
a
they go for
combined
grants.
effort in between the town and the board. That's why we're here this evening to
No, I
let you guys know.
understand what you're saying. I'm saying
Okay,
they have the capability of going for grants and getting it themselves.
all
Are
right.
they saying it's on town property or it's on their property?
No, they're saying that you're working together for some reason. Now you're telling me that I gotta wait for another board meeting, and go back and say that you guys said,
Let's find out what
Okay.
happened here. I mean, to me, if it's on our property, then we have to give them approval to do
I'm
it.
sorry, I missed what we're
Yeah, they
what we're
want
looking
bike
to do.
bike
Girl wants a
racks.
bike rack.
Bike racks?
They mentioned it at the Board of Ed meeting last year, and then she went again on the last meeting,
Okay.
and they said that to come to the town meeting, and the town and the board work together doing this.
Sir, I don't know, maybe you do or maybe you don't know that, we haven't had a track in this town, a running track for, I know what he means, but if we don't have room for a running track.
Yeah, but bike racks on.
A bike rack is just where you park your bike when you go to
I'm
school.
sorry, then I
You
do
got a
this.
bike track.
I
Where
Where do you want to
We'll get you a
At
bike
the
rack.
school, so the children can ride their bikes
Bike
instead
racks at the
of...
school.
Just a
You
plan.
want the
If I
bike racks at the
misunderstood,
school.
Yes, sir.
Well, then that's a school thing you have to go to.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
nothing
on
to do
town
with it, that's
property.
their
It
property.
can happen.
All right, so once again, now I go back to the board and say that they said it's not your problem,
Yeah,
it's your
that's
problem.
right.
If it's on
They have
their
grants,
property,
they
it's
have
for
their
All agree on that?
Yes.
We're okay with
All
that.
right, thank you very much for your time.
The real question is, if it's on their property, they have purview over their property.
Okay.
They have 2 grantsmen, 2, not 1, 2.
Okay.
So they can go out for grants and they can approve for their property. Now, if you're telling me it's on our property, that's all another thing. If it's on their property, that's their purview.
All right, so now I go back there and tell them that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
All
you
right.
could.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Frank Antoni.
Phyllis Frantantoni, when Mr. Canning was the town manager and the mayor of the town, I had asked for bike racks and he had said they were gonna get them. Now, it's all these years that we don't have bike racks and these kids don't have them where they can park their bikes. I had asked for them in front of town hall, he was gonna get it in front of town hall. You tell people yes and then you don't do it. I don't understand it, but you find money to get these big raises, it gets me sick. And these kids gotta worry about parking their bikes and getting them robbed, where they can park them in a bike rack and lock them. I mean, everybody says they're for the kids. Whose kids? It just gets me aggravated. I don't understand it.
Just to clarify the whole bike rack thing, since I'm on the Board of Education, it's a grant that the Board of Education and the township have to apply for to get it.
Now that's a
To
different
get
story.
it. And I'm
That's
under the
real
assumption that you could put some of the bike racks at the school, some of the bike racks like at parks, but that particular grant that they got, North and Maplewood, both have to work together in order to apply for the grant. You can't just apply for it, we can't just apply for it, it has to be from my district.
So we'll get together with you.
And, yes,
Their grants.
With the grant, yes.
Okay, that-
Talk to them.
Thank you.
Make sure somebody tells this guy.
Catch him, catch him.
Let him know, Chris.
I'll mention it.
Eleanor?
I'm Ellen Guarino, I live in East Chester. Speak up, Eleanor.
Yeah.
Speak up. We're battling noise from air conditioning.
Well, I hope, dear Mayor and Council, I have a few items I'd like to bring before you. Our new street lamps on Washington Avenue, they have an attachment for flags. And I'm wondering if our American flag is going to be raised for our country's birthday, 4th of July. That's number one item.
Okay.
Shall I go on, or shall
Laura, you have any?
Councilman Cosarelli and I actually drove up and down Washington Avenue, and with the new poles, there are attachments that you can purchase that we're looking into purchasing. We do not have them right now.
then I was given wrong information.
Yeah,
Okay,
but we're looking at it.
but we are gonna get them?
Yes.
We're gonna fly those flags, right?
I don't know that we're gonna have them in time for 4th of July this year,
Well, let's
but
have
we're
a
going to
As to
purchase them.
how
Buy them all the
about,
time.
As long as we have them in here, we'll have flags, with the council's permission.
good, number one. 2, Graylock Parkway was approved for paving. One sign has been done from Washington Avenue to Union Avenue, okay? I don't know when is the other side gonna get done. The other thing is, I don't recall if the parkway was supposed to be done in parts or parkway is parkway, and that goes from Washington Avenue to Passaic Avenue. So far, we're only up to Union Avenue. Are we going to continue with the islands, the other 4 islands? There are 2 that go up from Union to Forest, 2 that go down the hill to Passaic Avenue. These 4 islands are in terrible shape. So even if the paving doesn't get done, the islands have to be looked into. The ones,
The ones on Graylock Park, down to Knowlton you're talking about, right?
I'm talking, is
Yeah,
the
down to
total
Knowlton.
parkway going to be paved? And that goes from Washington Avenue to Passaic Avenue.
But the islands only go north, right?
Milton.
Okay.
There are 4. Now, no matter how DPW tries to keep up with cutting the grass and whatever, it gets ahead of them. And they always look messy and they look raunchy and stupid. So I'm gonna hear about that, right? Okay. I wanted to throw this in. I used to go through that parkway when I used to walk to Belleville High School on Washington Avenue. And believe me, it had to be the prettiest street you'd ever want to see. So for me personally, when I go down that street and I see the condition of it, I just get upset. But that's personal. Now, I'm aware at one time we had there was lots of talk about a facade program, and I've been in touch with Mr. DiLorenzo, and we're going to continue dialogue on Washington Avenue. But in the meantime, I recall talking to one of my, I believe it was Mr. Ravel, who was aware of that facade, and he and Mr. DiLorenzo were supposed to work on that. And that was like 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Washington Avenue, to be honest with you, one of the first things we started doing on Washington Avenue were lights.
Remember we were supposed to be
Yeah,
working on the
there's
streetscape?
actually, I believe there's a program in place there. If you look at it now, I believe there's some stuff on the books, but one of the first things we wanted to do was the lights on the avenue. That we've started to do. Now we're waiting to hear back from the state on some of the other things that they have in mind too. Because I know Laura, do we have a meeting with the DOT?
That was this week, yeah.
We had a meeting on the 23rd with the DOT concerning the repaving and the sidewalks. The county, I believe, still has a facade program that they run through the community development block grant program. All right, but the property owners need to commit to that because there's certain conditions.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a matching grant. I think it's
Well,
up to 25,000.
they can't commit if they're not approached.
Want to finish up on it, please?
They can't commit if they're not approached. We have what we have is too much signage. There's not a building on this avenue that doesn't have at least 10 million signs, and with 25% of the window that's supposed to be covered, you can't even see in the window. It can't go on like that. I agree with the young lady who said we don't look like Belleville anymore. And it can't go on that way. I get upset. And that's personal to me, but I'm sure we in this town know what I'm talking about. It just cannot go on any longer like that. We need those signs removed, those banana signs, whatever they are. I understand they're not even legal, and they're still up there flying away, and every day I see another one going up. It's disgusting.
Thank you, Alderman. We'll have code enforcement, we'll look into that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, we've already talked about it.
Well, we'll take it.
Okay, and I just want you to know, I'm going to be, I've been in touch with Mr. Varghese, with the county engineer with regards to Belleville Avenue's, coming down Belleville Avenue and a left-hand turn. We need a sign up above with the left-hand signal. It doesn't do any good to put it on the ground. I frequent that restaurant across the street, and I take my life in my own hands trying to get it crossed. And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that, God bless him, he does a great business with these oversized trucks. And you know what? It's not easy crossing the street and with one of these guys staring you down the street and making that left-hand turn. So I heard from I got an email from Mr. Varghese, and he tells me that I have to go to the state, which I intend to do, and I wish you would help me and back me up. And we need a green sign that says
Eleanor, thank you,
Washington
thank you.
Avenue.
Thank you.
When you come
Give your
down-
list of,
Okay? We're okay.
Thank
Thank you.
Mr. Manley?
Item number 7, Mr. Tucci. I fully understand that the nature of the contracts for managers is not like it was in years past, and, you know, depending upon your terms, there can be immediate dismissal, council, manager can do what they want. I'm very concerned with the idea that under the Faulkner Act, a manager form of government is supposed to circumvent the politics when it comes to the manager's position. So manager is supposed to be apolitical. Obviously, that is not the case. To a grand degree, it's not the case. It's Belleville's problem historically. Are you competent? It certainly seems that you are. I'm not arguing that point. You know, I can understand it all. Just the idea that had we actually engaged the National Search Committee at business, they go out and they headhunt. They don't just put it online so the world can be out there in the World Wide Web, and whether they see it or not is something that is, you know, just left up to chance. So the idea that we got a resume from someone who was in Nebraska and pointed to other areas in the country means nothing to me. They would go and hunt down the right person for the job had we actually engaged a professional. So in my opinion, that really is a loss for Belleville, major. And we're going to have a manager that is the commissioner next door, has a major county job, that over 100,000 I assume now, because it was 97.5 3 years ago. So the idea is that, what do you have to do for 100,000? Do you have time to be a commissioner or partner in your pool store and take care of Belleville's many needs? All right, so that's going to be the focal point, you know, in moving forward. And I'm sorry, but you guys failed. You failed. You should have gone for the committee. You should have gone for a professional to go and find the right person for the job. Put the town's mind at ease. That we would have an industry professional that would take care of us and represent us. So that's, you know, that really is distressing. That are there any changes in the terms? Because obviously you're going to appoint him tonight. Are the terms changing?
Well, it changes. The salaries in there naturally, and any conditions. He's governed still under the Faulkner Act.
Well, I understand that, but salary is going to change?
The salary's in there, yes.
The salary's in there. How much?
150,000.
So it's going to go from 139.5 to 150. Any other changes in the terms?
Well, the manager's entitled to a car, but he's not taking a car, he's gonna take a car allowance.
Time off, more or less?
Sure, time off's in there, vacations.
As before, or it's being increased? I don't see how, but it could be.
28 days.
Pardon me?
It's 28 days.
28 days, so it's as it was before.
Yes.
So it's the only salary then, the salary issue is all that's changing.
Yep.
Manager Tucci, I'm going to send you a lot of information going forward because we got a lot of problems. And I see them daily. We have collapsed sewers down in the valley where we flood, that a small rain renders them totally worthless. And people's lives are affected when drainage is impossible, doesn't drain out properly. There's collapses under, you see, just the other day, obviously they're working on it today, right on Stevens, we've got a water main blow. Well, as far as I know, there's been no big tractor trailers, it's certainly not freezing weather. You know, we've got water mains blowing around all around town. And I have a lovely sign courtesy of you of how my street is finally going to be paved and fixed this summer. And that's my hope, and I'm really hoping it does happen soon. And do not miss the water line, because we had a mild winter, but over the 2 years prior to that, we had 3 water breaks on a street that has 30 houses on it. So it's antiquated, and this fire hydrant doesn't produce pressure. Down the end of the block, it could burn down by the time the fire department can get hoses down there. So we have major problems in our town, and they're going to need careful attention. And, you know, kind of been laying off because I understand, you know, you're temporary, but you're going to assume the mantle permanently. Well, the information's got to flow then for what we need to get done and appropriate for, because It's just so expensive. I mean, I've got an industrial building and nobody can afford the rents because that's how much, the taxes are over 30,000 on an ancient building that needs constant repairs. So it's getting harder and harder and harder. And the only thing that we have is the appeal of our town potentially. And from what I hear, we can't get a manager to respond to us through the normal means because of the state that Belleville's in. And we're trying to iron out our schools and bring back ratables. We need people to see the town as appealing. Like Eleanor said, it needs to look good. It needs to be kept. And otherwise, we're just going to sink completely in relatively short order because, quite frankly, our ass is already in the bucket. We're in bad shape. And we need to come out of it and glean. And the only way to do that is to turn your problems inside out and show them to the world that you really are in the mood to show leadership and change. And that's what we're going to need from you, because you're the man. It's a managerial form of government with a strong manager, weak mayor. I would like to see that reversed. I would rather see a strong mayor, someone who, 7 people can kind of fold their arms and point to you. And that tends to happen, and when things don't get done, it's extremely frustrating, and you listen to the people around. I have one final question. You're in streetscape communication with the state. Are we going to lose our 2 lanes in either direction on Washington Avenue? Because that was a lunacy in Newark.
No, we're not.
All right, so we're not going for a bicycle lane.
No, we're not going
Let's go for the bicycle racks. I like that idea. Let's.
Well, that's what the bicycle lane.
Yeah, and let's stay away from losing any lanes because, quite frankly, anybody who had any dreams of grandeur of putting the railroad through or losing a lane on Belleville Avenue, Washington Avenue, Belleville Avenue, my God, when it was John Street, they talked about widening. I wish they had. But the idea is that we're overwhelmed with traffic and problems. And
We're not changing.
all right, do me a favor then. Go back and take out that forward-looking plan of yours that's looking for 2,500 new housing units down in the valley on former industrial properties. Because throw that away. We don't need that. We can't get out of our town now or home. I mean, it's unbelievable. You're going to be putting a traffic light up on Garden Avenue before you know it because nobody can get out of the side streets to go to work anymore. No one. I am done, but really, we got to get real here. Got to bring down these salaries. You got to control how many people are on the top end. How many people are making over 150,000, over 100,000. You got to rein that in. You got some?
When you're done.
All right, just to say that there's only one way to do it. Now you've got your police chief retiring. That's the only time you can reduce that. Reduce it, please. Otherwise it's just going to snowball. We're just getting so far out of control, it's impossible to reel it back in. Thank you.
If I might just very briefly, Mr. Magley, you bring up some very good points. And we have a bond ordinance, actually 2 bond ordinances, one for $200,000 to begin making some water and sewer repairs, and we have another for some $4.6 million to make some roadway improvements, some of which will be reimbursed, and improvements throughout other portions of town. Silver Lake Firehouse being one, getting the Friendly House completed, and a myriad of other things. So we are beginning.
If I may, Manager.
These are the beginning. Let me finish. These are the beginnings, all right, of capital projects that are going to take some time.
But it's all bonding. It was built into budgets in prior years. Now it's bonding. That's debt service.
We gotta get them, right?
That's it, yeah.
Mrs. Fucci?
Vicky Fucci, 61 Continental. Yes, Franklin Avenue is tremendous now, it's a little paved. However, I don't know, and most people don't seem to know, if it's 1 lane in each direction or 2, because they didn't put the alternate.
They didn't put the line, yes, the line. The contractor will do that.
Yeah, they got to just right.
Yes.
Good evening. I'd like to bring up a question I asked 2 meetings ago about a private contractor, Safelli & Sons, working on the city park. And you assured me, in fact, Mr. Tucci took notes, 1,000 hours have transpired since 2 meetings ago. Who authorized Safelli & Sons to work on the city park? Did it go through a proper bid procedure? How much was he being paid? Do you have the answers?
I don't, I'll be
You wrote
honest
it
with you,
down, Mr. Tucci.
excuse me.
1,000 hours ago, you wrote it down. You said you'd get back to me.
I know Mr. Cifelli did in fact do some concrete work, all right? And I don't want to mislead you, I'm not sure if that was paid, some of that was paid out of township funds, or if that was paid out of funds that were raised for the Soho Sitting Park.
Marie, do you know?
I don't think it was from the Soho City Park.
He was paid out of funds raised by the Soho Sitting Park?
Maybe some of it, but not all of it. I'm not really sure how much it cost to do that skate we did.
Thank you. Is there any record of it?
Yeah, there is a record. I'll be happy to give you a call tomorrow and give you a complete breakdown of what was paid out of the trust and what was paid out of capital dollars.
1,000 hours have gone by since I requested the information. 1,000 hours. And you still don't have
I
it.
understand.
Why should I have to call you up tomorrow?
You don't have to, I said I would call you.
Call me.
If that's
You have
acceptable
my
to
phone
you.
number?
I'm sure we have it online. You called me before, I have your number. I've called you back and we've spoken.
1,000 hours.
He's gonna get you the answer.
Okay.
I'm just asking, why wasn't it given to me before? I live on Brighton Avenue, as you know, because you were so nice to put up all those signs saying that Brighton Avenue is going to be paved. All right?
And it will be. And it will be.
It was very nice. Those signs, you know, right around my house. I see that what goes on the sitting part every single day. There's public workers there doing work on the fountain. It's very nice, by the way, Marie. All right? Every single day they're doing work there. I don't know what Cifelli, a private contractor, is doing there. When you have the town working there, there's more tax money going down the drain. So, Mr. Tucci, you can call me up tomorrow. After 1,000 hours, tomorrow will be 1,000 to 24 hours. Right? Thank you. Thank you.
Marilyn Drowse, 95 Bell Street. I have a question. In regards to alternate parking, street cleaning, same thing, doesn't make a difference. Am I correct?
I'm sorry.
Alternate side street parking or street cleaning, you can call it either way because vehicles have to move once a week. Well, the problem I have is I notice it's constant, and I'm sure you can help out. Street cleaning, vehicles don't move their cars. And I see them week after week, they do not get tickets. And it's just getting to be a point of annoyance where the sweeper cannot get around and they're not getting tickets. And not only that, to add to the insult, there's a certain vehicle that parks within 25 feet of a stop sign, has this note in there every week and it never moves. I'm broke down and it never gets a ticket, doesn't even get a ticket for the stop sign. And maybe we can address that because it's like $50 a ticket. I got one once myself, so I know I never, I made an error and I paid for it. But these people are the same people over and over and over. Just another question in regards to Sandy that passed. Did we, if I remember correctly, did we ever get a grant to do cleanup from the damages from Sandy and Belleville?
We did get reimbursed on overtime and some equipment.
But did we have any outside workers or temporary workers that were hired? Because if I remember correctly, I'm not 100% sure, maybe somebody can tell me.
I couldn't answer that question, I don't know.
Mr. Tucci, can you find out how much Sandy money was used? The only reason I'm bringing that up is because I'm reading these newspaper articles recently about this controversial 55 over senior housing, and there's been a lot of negativity in the town towards it, and that's why I'm bringing that up, because if I remember, I did see temporary workers there, and if you need me to do an Oprah, I'll be happy to do the Oprah, so you can do it either way. I would like that information of how much was used. If the newspaper article that I have in my hand is criticizing the township for money that we should not have received, so I'm concerned that that money we should have not received also. Because the quote in the Star Ledger is, they're basically saying here that the money we've gotten for 55 and over is illegal, and I'm questioning that if we had any serious damage, because no newspaper
I
is
don't
saying
think it said
that.
it was illegal.
Newspaper is
Because if it
saying
was
we had no,
illegal,
I only
somebody
believe
would go to
newspapers
jail.
50%, I don't believe 100%. I always give 50 the other way. So I'd like to have some information on that same thing was used, how it was used.
I think what Solomon Dweck did was illegal, not
You go well for yourself.
Sandy funds.
Make a motion to close.
I haven't said anything in a long time, Kevin, give me a minute. I want to speak about the Belleville Senior Building, what's going on over there. On June 17th, Mill Street was closed to remove telephone pole where the new bridge is being installed for age-restricted housing. Our club bridge is approximately 200 feet off of Franklin Avenue. There were 2 police cars parked side by side, would not let us in, would not let me in, made me go all around Newark Avenue, Harrison Street, down Mill Street, right past the pole that was being taken down for the safety of the seniors. Did that make sense? I called Town Hall. Then they finally let the seniors in at Franklin Avenue for a short time, and then once again made them go all around. Here we had only 200 feet to go into the bridge over to our building, and they made us go right down past all the construction cars, the trucks and so forth that were working on that the pole. That's not for the safety of the people. They could have gotten out of those cars, and they didn't need 2 police cars parked side by side, blocking the entire street. Then again, the following week, June 24th, same situation. They're working up by the bridge over there and by the DAV building. Mill Street closed, cop sitting in the car. I drove right in, once again, called the manager's office. The police then told the seniors to drive to 5 Franklin Avenue, go into their parking lot, make a U-turn, come out and come back down, and they'll let them in over the bridge to the club. Now, that's for the safety of the senior citizens. How many needed to get killed? How many of you have tried to come out of 5 Franklin Avenue with traffic coming both ways? And this is what the seniors were told to do last Friday. We had half the membership at the club because of both situations. They're killing the membership in our club. Our Friday meetings are getting smaller and smaller because of what we're going through up there. The seniors are upset, and they did ask me to come to speak tonight. And there are several officers also from the Bocce Club that are very upset about the situation there and came. They realized I drive a car, I don't ride a broomstick. They came to talk to me, okay? And we got things settled real nice. So they were very nice about it. In fact, one of them said to me, "What are you going to do about the mice?" I said, "Me? We've been invaded with mice ever since this has happened. It's all over our couches and everything in there. It's in the corners in the bathrooms. It's on the counters in the kitchen. Mice, mice, and mice. They don't bother me, but they're bothering a couple of men." June 21st, seniors came to a meeting. That happened to be on a Tuesday when the parking lot is really very packed. Along between the club and that housing, we had that wall, that little wall they put up where that little shed is where the people come. There are some parking places along there. 5 of the cars that went to the club had a note put on their cars to please not park there anymore, that those parking places belong to the housing, not to the seniors. Okay? Now, once and for all, where is the property line between that property and the property that is owned by the Township of Belleville for the senior citizens and which was given to the seniors for their entertainment and recreation? We want to know, when are they going to do something about a partition between us? There has to be something. Why are all these openings made, which looks like when there's going to be an overflow, 1 car is going to be allowed for each apartment. You know they're going to have more than 1 car. So where are these other cars going to go? The convenient driveways that have been put in over there behind our building, which I heard was for the fire trucks, but as far as it's going to be for others, our seniors have started sneaking in on that driveway rather than get sent all the way around in a big circle to get themselves killed. So we want, finally, once and for all, this project to be done, out of our way. Where's this beautiful parking lot we were supposed to have gotten a year ago when we were closed down for a week? It was gonna close just for us to have a beautiful lot. Well, come on over and enjoy it, because the conditions there are deplorable. It is disgraceful what we seniors of Belleville will have to put up with. What's gonna happen when that project is really finished? Where are we gonna be? Out in the middle of the street? I don't understand all of what's going on down there. And like I say, I'm not speaking just for myself. I could bring, if you give me a couple of buses, I'll bring you senior citizens for the next meeting that can't drive at night and can't come over here to the meeting. But we need to have something done over there once and for all. They destroyed our property, coming over our bridge. The trucks are all still coming in, big cement trucks and everything. And oh yeah, they're making a beautiful thing over there. I never heard of anybody putting up in a big apartment building and you have no way to get to it. You have to destroy somebody else's property to do it. Well, we want our property fixed now. When I say we, I mean the township of Belleville, the senior citizens of this town. Don't throw us under the bus. That's the only thing we have left. And another thing, what is wrong with grass, trees, and flowers in Belleville? Must we look like a concrete jungle? Let's be the town we're supposed to be. And let's get this straightened out for the seniors. I've had enough of arguing for 2 weeks already over this, trying to get into this building. I'm not trying to lay the blame all on the cops and everything, but certainly that's not common sense with what has been done in both situations to make us get to our building not even 200 feet off of Franklin Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carl Fleck from 132 Franklin Street. Did you really think I wasn't going to get to talk? Okay, first of all, Mr. Tucci, congratulations on being appointed. You know, I really hope that your past is your past and everybody can work together and we won't have any problems. I really, really hope. I'm going to be nice. I know that shocks everyone. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I don't think everybody else believes you, but it's nice to see that, you know, everything about the Silver Lake Firehouse is on the consent agenda. Hopefully, when you guys make that approval, hopefully 8 and 9 mysteriously won't be taken off the table to be reworked and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully that won't happen. Again, I'm being nice. It's going to come back and bite me, I know, but I'm being nice. Okay, so.
Why are you so negative? It's going to get done. Yeah.
I hope. I'm telling you, Mr. Mayor, I'm being nice tonight. I'm being nice. Take my word for it. After the days I've had in the last couple days personally, I'm being nice. Take my word for it. Okay, so. I am. Okay, so I brought this to the attention before of council about the people coming off of Franklin, veering into the other lane onto Magnolia Street. Something's got to be done. It's getting worse. We were coming to the meeting tonight. 2 cars, right, and they follow like sheep. One does it, another one. There was a car that was about this close to causing a major accident. You know, I
agree with you, but I was on the Parkway Sunday, and there was cars cutting through the overpass. There's not police every place. If there's a policeman there, he's gonna get a ticket. But they can't be on every street. It's impossible.
Right, no, I understand that. I fully understand that.
Well, what are we gonna do? Put a barricade up in the middle of the street? Make it a two-way.
Let's not get snarky, shall we?
Let's make it a two-way.
All right, now, what I'm asking, what I've asked before, again, I know you can't put a cop on every street, okay? Can we have more patrols there? Can we have that little speed thing back? You know, someone's gonna get killed, and then everyone's gonna go freak out when somebody gets killed, because guaranteed it's gonna be a little kid, because when they're veering around that, they're coming at 40, 50 miles an hour down on Magnolia Street, and nothing's being done. I asked also about a light on the corner, you know, to see if somebody can talk to PSC&G about putting a light on the corner of Magnolia. It's pitch black dark. Again, I'm trying to be nice. So please, if you can do this, it would be greatly appreciated. And like I said,
I will believe what you say about the firehouse when I'm being woken up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, when I hear the air breaker going again, when I see them again. That's when I'll start believing. You want to be like that? Fine. I'll believe it when I see it. We saw the work needs to be done. I'll finish up, and then you can scurry out. Okay?
No, we don't want to scurry out.
Yeah, no, you all do. Like,
No, we don't.
yeah, you do.
No, we don't.
Okay? But again, I'll believe it when I see it.
When you have 5 minutes to stop, that's enough. Mr. Fleischman.
Thank you. Frank Fleischman, 132 Franklin Street. My wife is absolutely correct about what happened with the traffic on Franklin Street. And one of the reasons why I know that is that 2 weeks ago I was getting into my car and I was almost not here.
I'm not
Okay,
denying
that
that
hit.
don't happen, sir.
All right, so it's not, we're not just
No, I'm not
talking,
denying it don't
talking. No, I understand. Councilman Nattori, if I heard you correctly, we were talking earlier about the manager search. You said there was about 10 candidates.
Right.
Okay, and you said that it was your impression that people didn't want to work here. Am I correct?
Yes.
Do you find that strange? Is that weird to you? I mean, I studied public administration in college 20 years ago, and it seems a little strange to me that 10 candidates decided they didn't want to come here and work. With this. It's not like you don't provide a good salary. Doesn't look like it's not like you don't provide good benefits, that sort of thing. It just seems weird to me.
Well, Mr. Fleischman, other towns that have advertised on the web, people that I know, they have received anywhere from 50 to 70 resumes. That's what, that's all I can say.
Okay.
Here from Frank, they wanted $200,000, close to $200,000.
Okay.
So that's automatically.
All right, but you looked at, there was like a pool of 10 candidates. Do you know like how many resumes were actually collected in that time, roughly?
11.
There was just that 11. I
That's
get
it.
it.
That's the
Okay.
total.
All right, that seems a little strange to me. I don't know why. But otherwise, I think you guys should have gone with the national search firm, honestly. Okay, if Mr. Tucci had turned out to be the most qualified candidate in that, I would have liked someone who was not a politician in another town or something like that, but that's beside the point. He's done a fair job as far as I'm concerned, and that's fine. And if he is actually appointed tonight, I think he's going to have his hands even more full, but I wish him the best of luck. The other thing I just wanted to notice is that when we're talking about this, here in the state, there is, I would say, a really good resource for public employees and managers, that sort of thing. You have a university here in New Jersey that has a nationally ranked MPA program, okay? And that university is Seton Hall University. I'm a proud alumnus of it. When I'm not wearing a Belleville shirt, I'm wearing a Seton Hall shirt. I'm very proud of Seton Hall, that sort of thing. But it has a nationally ranked, it's been in the top 10 for I think the past 10 years. It hit #1 this year as far as being an excellent MPA program, especially with a concentration in public policy, which is kind of what you'd be looking for, I think, in a management position. So, again, it just seems strange to me that, #1, only 10 candidates or 11 candidates showed interest, and that 10 of them really didn't want to work here. That's all. Thank you.
Second motion, close public hearing?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes. Make a motion, move the consent agenda?
Second.
Any deletions? Not me?
9.
Did you say 9?
Yes.
Jill?
3. 7.
3 and 7?
Yes.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Move resolution number 3.
Second.
Okay, so resolution 3, I just want to express that I have a problem with one of the businesses that are on there for their alcohol license renewal, and that is 202 Restaurant West. I understand that it cannot be pulled separately from the rest of the list, and my objection, I've stated before, is to me, the inappropriateness is where they're located, proximity to schools, churches, and all of those kinds of things. And I know that there is some agreement with me, but I know that legally there are also issues that prevent, drastic action. However, I just wanted to get my feelings out on the table. I wish that there was something more we could do to remove that business from where it is in proximity to, churches, schools, kids, families, and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to make that statement before we vote.
Maybe we can see if we can get the owner to come in and talk to him.
Yeah.
Has he ever been invited here? No. Bring him in, see if we can
Let's invite him.
talk to him and just see if he's straightening out.
Mark,
And if that doesn't work, we can always rezone it and move it down to the industrial section.
Can we do that for next meeting?
I'll try.
Clerk will roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
I'm going to abstain on this vote.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Resolution 7. Move it.
Second.
I only called that one out because I do want to recognize you, Mr. Manager, and the job that I have seen you do since you've been here. I appreciate that you've taken a lot of heat, not only from the public and others, but also from me, not because I was being mean, just because I, passionately had a few things that I believe strongly in, and I appreciate the fact that you did address them, and even if they weren't necessarily addressed to my satisfaction, you really did stay on top of them, and, I was half joking before about that whole believer thing, but you know what? Today we are at a place where the construction will be beginning soon, I believe, and there is a path forward for the rest of the project, and that in particular. I think that you brought a strong sense of leadership. I think that the workers in town respect you. I think that the folks are getting their answers that they're asking for. Nobody's perfect. Sometimes we can't get to them as efficiently as we want. But that's all I wanted to say. I do appreciate the job you've done, and I am proud and happy to be able to vote for your reappointment.
Thank you.
Well, I also want to congratulate you on your appointment tonight. I've worked with you for the past, since you've been interim, and you're doing a great job. Nobody's perfect, so we're all going to make mistakes, but we're going to do the best to get things done. And go from there, but, good luck in the future.
Thank you, Mayor.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Resolution
Move it.
Second.
you just want to
Roll call.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
I abstain.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes, new business. With the request received from the Belleville Football Parents and Friends Association for permission to conduct tag days on July 10th, 16th, and 17th, August 6th, 7th, 16th at local businesses.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Resolution.
Go ahead.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and municipal council of the township of Belleville to execute a hold harmless agreement with Micro Incorporated for use for the sidewalk adjacent to 531 Jerome Street, Belleville, New Jersey. I move it.
Second.
Clerk will roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Schumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Longstreet?
Yes. Anything else on the new business? Yes.
Nothing, that's it. John?
Anything on the new business?
I have one quick thing. I just wanted to acknowledge the passing of a couple of notable residents, that being Fireman Tom Smith, and Judge Smith's father, Mr. Nicoletti, who passed away today, and Mike Ippolito. He's a great resident, and your prayers for the family we greatly appreciate. Thank you.
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Can I say goes on?